Well, hey y'all, and welcome to the Everyday Truths podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about mental health because we've had a lot of questions come in about mental health. So we're going to take a look at it at a very basic level. We're going to talk about the stigmas that can be attached to mental health care, especially in the Christian community. We're going to talk about finding that balance of faith, but also seeking professional treatment and how those two things can live side by side, how to find support when we need it, and also how to be someone who supports others. And so whether you are somebody who has struggled with your mental health, someone who has others around you who perhaps struggle with their mental health sometimes, this is going to be a great episode for you. And so let's get into it. Well, hey there, and welcome to the Everyday Truths podcast. My name is Sherri. I'm the creator of Everyday Truths, and this is my good buddy, Chamberlain.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. My best birthday friend forever. We share a birthday.
That's right.
Same year. In fact, the same minute.
Same second, all the way down to the second.
Hospital. We're twins. We have the same mom.
We have the same mom and same different dads.
Yeah, it's a long story. I don't think that's what the people are here for, though, so we won't get into that. That's for a whole nother episode. No, it's same birthday. We know each other because we worked together for years, and so then obviously learned that we have the same birthday, bonded over that, and we have been known to eat a lot of buffalo wings together.
A lot of wings.
You were in season 1. Your episode was amazing. It was so awesome. You were actually the first official episode of the Everyday Truths podcast. And we talked about how God pursues us, and it really, one of my favorite episodes that we've gotten to do, so foundational for the work that I've begun to do with Everyday Truths. And so I'm so glad that you're here again. And in these tabletop episodes, what happens is we'll do like a short intro. You know how I like to play games, and so we'll do something. And then we have had a lot of different topics come in because I love to get online and just be like, hey, what questions do you have, or what topics do you want to hear talked about on the Everyday Truths podcast? Because you know this, because what I'm here for is to make faith real and relevant so we can live it out in our everyday lives. And so I don't want to ever be answering questions that no one's actually asking. Oh, yeah. And so it's really fun to hear from different people, just seeing how people, just all of us being different walks of life, how we deal with these different kinds of circumstances or these topics or whatever that looks like. But now we're going to play the game, Things That Annoy Us.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun game. Okay, here's I have 2 driving ones immediately.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you come to a 4-way stop and somebody else is coming. You can see them and they're going to go stop, but it's a long time before you're going to stop. It's a full 5 count. When they get there and they stop and they wait, they're watching you, waiting for you to stop. And then once you stop, they go. It's you could have gone about 800 times by now. Why do you feel like you need to watch me stop?
What about when you're at a 4-way stop and everybody gets there at the same time? Who goes?
I do.
Doesn't matter. You do.
Well, you said it at the same time. Okay, here's the thing. Nice drivers suck.
Okay.
That's just edit. I'm just kidding. But no, it's not, when I say nice drivers, I mean when you're no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. It's ambiguity causes accidents.
Sure.
And so don't be overly aggressive, but also don't be the person who stops for someone to turn when traffic is moving and things like that. There's give the right of way when it's supposed to be there. Don't when you're not, things like that. And so in the face of ambiguity, I'll kind of I'll look and wave cool, bye. And so I'm not a jerk. Somebody's got to go. I'll go.
Yeah. One of my things is of course the left lane is for passing, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, if I'm doing over the speed limit, I don't have to move, right?
Oh,
That's my thing. I'm you can go around.
If you ever get a new car,
I'm good.
And you're driving in front of me and I don't know it's you, I may get mad at you're going to we're going to.
Yeah. I'm I'm already speeding.
I'm talking trash.
I don't have to go any faster. It annoys the heck out of people. I do it on purpose.
Just to annoy people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I'm I'm already speeding. I can't go any faster, and I'm not going to move.
Really strong opinion. I despise people who annoy other people on purpose.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Crocs annoy me.
Really? Yeah, I have inside Crocs, and they're only inside. And I have 2 pairs of outside Crocs because one of my kids inevitably is going to take them and step in dog poop. I love Crocs because I have super clammy feet, so slippers are not an option at all.
Do you grip in the Croc with your clammy feet? Does
Yeah,
it, like,
because
help
they're
you?
grippy inside. I love Crocs. I don't wear them around. My kids do, but it's become like very acceptable to do that. Like forever we were like, don't wear your Crocs. Like we're not, hey, we're going somewhere, go put your tennis shoes on.
No.
It's so like acceptable. Like they have like cool Crocs now. Like
Yeah,
they're like,
I saw some that were like boots the other day, and I was just like, okay, we've
gone too far. We've gone too far.
Yeah.
But for just like Crocs, like, yeah, I really like Crocs. And actually, if you've gotten into fishing the last few years, right? Like, put Crocs in, 4x4 mode, sport mode, they grip like in the river and stuff like that really well. Especially if it's like really shallow where it's really slick.
I may try some. We'll
Yeah.
see.
When somebody gets on their phone and they're like watching a video and they turn it on to like the volume's at like 11. And there's like some dad phase. There's some phase that gets hit. I think it's around like retirement age where all of a sudden you feel like you've like earned it. Like it doesn't matter where you are, a public place, at home, wherever, where it's like if you're gonna watch like a video, like a baseball video on social media, it is your right to like listen to it at max volume. And I cannot, like I just like, it's like I had to walk out of the room. I'm like, what just happened? You're guilty of this. I can tell you.
Years ago.
About
Yeah,
3 years ago.
I started about 3 years ago. That's when I started. I got my old man phase.
Oh, so good.
Good
All right.
times.
Well, there you go. Things that really annoy you. All right.
Yeah.
So lots of topics have come in over the last, like I said, I get online and I just ask people, what do you want to hear about? What do you want to talk about? One thing that came in a lot was just navigating life and mental health. And I was like, let's just go at it like really like low level. From 2 people, I think that have kind of navigated through the journey of figuring out how to navigate mental health in just crazy life in Christian life where people can, sometimes be judgmental about it. I want to pretend like we're sitting across from somebody just encouraging them. How do you navigate when this is a brand new thing? Like, and so that's like flashback because,
I mean,
yeah, we're going to start the timer
Sure.
though. Bazinga. There you go.
yeah. Well, I think part of navigating, mental health, or at least acknowledging that you're struggling, right? First and foremost, when it kind of hits, it's out of nowhere. And let's be honest, it's hard and it sucks. Like there's no real, hey, I need to do step A, B, and C, because sometimes it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it did for me. And all of a sudden I had an onset of anxiety that was just, crazy and
That's why I didn't tell you about the
debilitating at times.
topic ahead of time.
Yeah, because then I would have been too anxious.
No, but it's, yeah,
No.
it's, yeah.
No. So it's like, one of the things is just, culturally, there was a time culturally where it was, like you said, just kind of pull your bootstraps up and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going. And mental health wasn't a thing. You were either this or you were that, but you weren't mentally ill. You had whatever. You were lazy. You were just
Blue spells.
wild or what.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't anything ever taken so seriously.
Yeah. Right. Because the mentally ill were the people like in the padded rooms.
Right.
They were the people in the straitjackets. Like, it's like, no, I'm not that. I just have these spells or I just have this whatever. And then we convince ourselves that nothing's wrong. And then we just feel wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like, if I'm fine, if I'm okay, but I'm having all of these things happen, well, then I must be wrong. There's something wrong with me. And it's weird. It doesn't seem like it should make sense that acknowledging that something was wrong with you makes you feel right.
Yeah, because it seems counterproductive, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I can't say that anything's wrong or else something will be wrong. But, once you acknowledge that, it kind of leads you on a different place where you can at least, like, release that pressure. It's almost just like opening a cap, right, of a soda or something. It's got a lot of pressure built up, and you just say, okay, yeah, there is something wrong, and there's a quick release of pressure, and then you got to figure out how to navigate the rest of your time.
Absolutely. I remember, because I went in for like a diagnosis, and I remember like really having to wrestle with like this diagnosis that I was given as far as like mental health and it was, and then I recognized like, no, this wasn't like the moment. My journey didn't begin the day they said the words. It had been going on for a long time. Right. Now we could identify what it was, so now we could do something about it, but it took a long time to get to that point. And so what would you say, it's like step 1 of like, you feel like something's wrong and you don't know what it is. Like, what's like the first step to acknowledging that, right? Because even like you think about like, you think about people who deal with substance abuse or various addictions, right? The first step is always admitting that you have a problem.
Right.
And I think that's the same case here. is going, something's off. Maybe I actually need to look at it or address it.
Yeah. And even if it's not like I want to go to the doctor today, right? Even sharing with a trusted friend that, hey, like I'm feeling off. I'm not feeling, myself. I'm not feeling 100%. And then, go, seek clinical help or whatever.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
It's like, not like everything's
depends.
big, but at least saying out loud, I have these spells, or I have these seasons where I am just down, and maybe just let somebody else speak into it. Like, hey, are you dwelling on it? Are you getting up and like going and doing something about it? Are you like going for a walk? Are you wallowing? Hey, man, are you sitting on your phone just absolutely like just scrolling and doom scrolling and putting yourself in this? And so like having those conversations, one, makes it feel just a lot more accessible.
Yeah,
and so I think it's recognizing like, hey, maybe there's a trend. Maybe it's not everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some flags that you need to be paying attention to. And it's probably the things that you're really defensive about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I found it interesting when I started to deal with my anxiety as a believer, right? And man, the shame that brought, which was so damaging to me, feeling that I'm not a good enough Christian, or maybe I'm not praying hard enough, or I'm not that. And I don't even know why I felt that way, but I did. And the honest truth is, like, I felt horrible. More so about being a Christian dealing with anxiety, when scripture says be anxious for nothing, and everything in prayer and supplication, right? And I'm like, great, but being anxious and having anxiety to me are two different things, right? And so like I had to walk through that journey.
Yeah, and we're not even gonna we should get into the nuance of that. But that's another great thing. And so it's like you come to the place where you maybe are willing to admit, hey, there's something off. Like maybe I should talk to someone about this, or maybe I should just be open with somebody about it and just be like, man, I just cannot get out of this funk. I just feel like I'm in a rut.
Yeah.
I just feel like I am just constantly anxious in this season about this. I'm really nervous about this. Like, use the language that you want to, but open up to somebody. And then what though, so let's talk about, because most folks that listen to the podcast, they're like, oh, making faith real and relevant so I can live it out in my everyday life.
Sure.
Well, there is a stigma, and often in the Christian world, when it comes to mental health, because it's be anxious for nothing. And it's like, well, have you prayed about it? Or have you all of those things, and all good things? You should absolutely.
Sure.
You should be praying about the things that are difficult in your life, the things that are great in your life, the things that are like, you should be praying for all the things.
Right.
But there is a stigma attached to that. And that's really tough. And so you mentioned that a little bit. What else did you experience when it came to like the Christian community around you that maybe were like the naysayers?
So I was actually in a group, of people with anxiety. I'm surprised we even had people show up, but we did, right?
Oh,
like
that's right.
We met, and I had people walk.
This was in a church setting,
right?
Yeah.
It was in a church setting. We were in the lobby of a certain church, and one of the crazy things is people walked in. They were like, "What are you doing?" And so I just let them know we're having a class, dealing with anxiety. And one of the things like everybody said was like, well, why are you here? Doesn't scripture say this? And man, that just kind of fueled this anger in me that like,
I can't believe that was your experience, because that should have never been your experience.
Right. And thankfully it wasn't other people's experience. I mean, it was said loud enough for a couple people to hear, but I made sure that that conversation wasn't had again in front of other people, because it's like everybody needed to be safe in that group, and it's hard enough to get to a group when you're dealing with anxiety.
Yeah.
And then to have someone, several people say, "What are you doing here? Scripture says this," kind of thing was hurtful,
Yeah.
But thankfully I was in a different place spiritually that allowed me to take it and be hurt in a moment, and then be angry for a moment, and then push through and be like, I'm dealing with this.
Yeah.
This is my main focus.
You and I both have sought mental health care, and it has helped, and it has not lived on as a crutch in our life the way that naysayers would say that it has. Because I know for me, I hit the phase where I knew that I needed help. I sat in front of somebody and laid out what I had been experiencing, and the lows, and how they kept getting lower and lower and lower, and it's very scary. And then sought out the help, faced the same kind of voices saying, well, you should just have more faith, and all of those kinds of things, but then have come out on the other side with a balance of understanding the value of mental health care while also the value of my faith. And so let's
Sure.
instead of arguing for it, let's talk about our experiences and just the testimony of seeking out help
Yeah.
and the difference that it can make and how these two things can live side by side together.
Yeah, I'll kind of start with my faith side. So as I was going through my anxiety, I just dove into scripture, right? Because there was shame, but two, because I really knew that God could help, right?
Yes.
And so I was like, God help me. And he led me to a scripture where Paul's talking about his thorn in his flesh, right? And God says his grace is sufficient. What's interesting is before he led me to scripture, I kept hearing my grace is sufficient. And initially I felt like God was being dismissive of my anxiety.
Yeah, get over it, dude.
Yeah, like, hey, my grace is sufficient,
Well, that's
you're
everybody
fine.
else's voice. Like, faith should be enough.
Right.
Faith should be enough. Like, what are you doing? Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, initially I felt that way. I know better, right? But because of my anxiety and all the stress I was under and all the feelings.
You're still trying
right?
to convince you that it's not there. It's denial.
Yeah, and so like, of course, I'm like, God, what do you mean your grace is sufficient? Well, finally, like, it was like, go read this scripture, man, right? And so I went to go read the scripture, and it talks about how his grace is sufficient and that his power is, his strength is made perfect in our weakness.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, you weren't being dismissive. You were telling me that you were strong where I'm not.
Yes.
And so that was
Not just like, whatever, I gave you what you need. I gave you what you need. I gave you what you
Right.
need. He's like, no, it's much more personal. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally he was like, go read scripture, right? And so I went to read it. And it was a place where I needed to really, because of my mental state, I needed more from God in that moment to like of reassurance. And so it was like, here's what I'm actually telling you, even though you think I'm telling you this, right? God was like, no, that my strength is made perfect in weakness. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, right? And then I was like, all right, I need help. Let me go talk to people. It took a bit for me to get there, right? To where I felt safe enough to speak out to other people about what I was dealing with, just because of the stigma. But once I did, like, a weight lifted, and it took a while for this anxiety to go away.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't be able to sit here today if I was still dealing with it the way I was in that moment.
Yeah. And I think that often when we're shutting out people, we're shutting out God at the same time. In that, like, if we're in the place where we're just like, nope, I don't need help. Nope, I don't need to talk about it. Nope, everything's fine. Well, we're also like, because we're like projecting that in the world, we're telling ourselves that, and we're also in a way telling God that, because it's like, if I can't admit that something's going on and something's going wrong, I'm certainly not taking it to God.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's like, in getting help or admitting that you have a problem and seeking help in multiple ways, I think it is completely possible to go, nope, I'm only going this route about it, and it's my crutch and my diagnosis or whatever you want to say, or going this way and going, nope, I only need God to handle this and take care of it, and God can do whatever the heck he wants to do, can heal however the heck he wants to. But I think that he can use mental health professionals. I think he can use the people standing side by side with you. It's like Jesus, and when a paralyzed man is brought to Jesus, and he's lowered through the roof, he's carried on a mat by his friends. Well, that man had to let the corners of his mat be picked up by his friends. And it's like, yeah, God can lead you to where, well, let me say it this way. It's, if you think about the corners of your mat in your mental health journey, it may look like a counselor. It may look like a physician. It may look like a good friend. It may look like whatever that helps you get to that place of healing. But ultimately, that healing is Jesus.
Right.
But he can use
However
whatever
he leads
wants.
you, to healing.
Exactly. And so that's up to him. But I think that being two people that have experienced that stigma and kind of come out on the other side of it without getting into all the nitty gritty details of all the technicals. There are a lot of people that can speak so much better to those things. But I will say that there's never been, one of the greatest things that I ever did was to get real about it, let God speak into it, and then seek the help that I needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like one of the takeaways that I had from that, honestly, was just being able to share, like, there is no shame as a believer or a non-believer, but there's no shame in saying, hey, I'm struggling. I felt the shame,
Yeah.
and I didn't have anybody there to tell me there wasn't.
Yeah.
But once I got through it, I'm like, you know what? There is no shame in being a believer who struggles. Like, we're all going to struggle with something.
Isn't that like it's the whole thing? Yeah.
Yeah, but there's so much, right, where you can feel this shame or guilt or whatever. And like, of course, that's a lie. It's a trap that we're led to believe. But there's no shame in having mental health issues or having anxiety or depression or whatever it is, right? Like, it is what it is. We're believers. We're human. We're going to have issues.
Absolutely. Now, but it's always that thing of like, what is in my control and what's not. And often you can't control it, but you can control whether or not you seek help. You seek God in it. You seek
Absolutely.
the counselors, doctors, friends, whatever that looks like. And so, and dude, we just it just ran out of time. We like killed it. But I will say, take this beyond mental health. It doesn't, we always need folks in our life and in our corner that when something's happening, even if it's not mental health, I'm having a difficult time in this area. You know, somebody said this, it really bothered me. You know, whatever it is, I'm really stressed. We need those people in our lives that we can turn to and go, hey, I'm having a tough time. And it's one of those things that we have to have practiced that a few times. So when the big things hit, we know who we can talk to.
We can talk to. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the same thing in our relationship with God. It's like it takes I think for many of us, it takes a lot for us to really fully begin to trust God, even though He is like completely trustworthy. But it's like I feel like I brought this up with somebody recently, but it's something that I think Andy Stanley said. He's like, the more you trust God, the more trustworthy He will prove Himself to be. And so, don't just wait till the big moments to put trust in God and even in others, and to find those people that you can seek out when difficult things are happening. Because as difficult as it is in a really, really difficult moment to go and be vulnerable with someone, practice makes perfect. Yeah, practice makes progress. Practice makes and so it's be willing to get those people around you that you can go, hey, it's a bad day. Yeah. So
I'm needing just an ear. You know, people who aren't going to tear you down, you know, people are going to lift you up, build you up, you know, or also hold you accountable. Yeah.
They're allowed to tear you down a little.
A little bit.
Like Chamberlain and I do, but it's not important.
Just a leg sweep every now and then.
Just a leg sweep. Wake up.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Everyday Truths podcast. If you're not already, go and subscribe to the Everyday Truths podcast wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Also, go and sign up for the Everyday Truths mail list so that you don't miss any of the updates and the cool things that are coming up with Everyday Truths, where we can learn together how to make faith real and relevant in our everyday lives. We'll see you guys next week, back with a brand new episode.